Welcome to this week's episode of LARocks. Each year, thousands of bands make their pilgrimage to Los Angeles to play at places like the Whiskey, the Roxy, and the Rainbow Bar and Grill. I scout the city and invite only the best bands to do a private, invitation-only show for me and my rock star buddies. Brought to you from beautiful Hollywood, California. Oh yeah, I'm Redbeard, and I'm going to be your host. So follow me, and I'll get you past security.
Wow. Thank you. Like I promised you, there's a great guy here today to do some music for you. I hope you enjoy it as much as I have enjoyed listening to him. Please put your hands together and welcome Daniel Archuleta.
Thank you, friends. Thank you. door, and I decided that I wanted to lay on the floor. So I took off my only shoes, and then I started singing something sounded like a blues. Then I looked in her eyes, and I noticed that she told me just only lies. So I spent my last time on moonshine, and I laughed 'cause I wasn't despised. Why'd you have to treat me so bad? Why'd you have to make me feel so sad? If I died and did it over again, every time I cry, every time you'd win. Her standing there with a long stem flower sticking in her hair, and those eyes that just won't glow, 'cause I know she's hiding something I don't wanna know. Then I looked in her eyes, and I noticed that she told me just only lies. So I spent my last time on moonshine, and I laughed 'cause I wasn't despised. Why'd you have to treat me so bad? Why'd you have to make me feel so sad? If I died and did it over again, every time I cry, every time you'd win. Why'd you have to treat me so bad? Why'd you have to make me feel so sad? If I died and did it over again, every time I cry, every time you'd win. Thank you, friends. Thank you. Oh, well, she walk like a chicken and she talks like a duck, and the money and she ran out of love. And I said, welcome to 21st century. Right now, if you need some loving, well, please, well, don't ask me. Right now, he ain't no stranger to a devil affair. He'll look death in the eye and tell him if you dare. And I say, welcome to 20th century. Don't step in and please ask him for me. Oh, well, now, I ain't saying that, no, that I done nothing wrong. And if you catch me running around, I'll be singing my song. singing my song. Well, going on open and she lived in a shoe. That's only children, she didn't know just what to do. And I said, welcome to 21st century. Right now, if you need assistance, well, please don't ask my country. Oh, well, now, I ain't saying that I done nothing wrong. And if you catch me running around, baby, I'll be singing my song. Thank you so much, friends. Thank you. I want to thank you all again for coming out and supporting this. It really means a lot to me, it really does. This is an awesome production. Thank you, Redbeard. This is amazing, thank you so much. I'm gonna go freshen up a little bit. Thank you very much. We have some lovely guests joining us on stage today. We have the lovely Miss Sonia Harley and her friend Stephanie joining us on Live On. up for the ladies, right? Thank you so much. We look high and watch the moon conquer the sky as we try to get on by. Hiding myself, all the dismay. Are we ever gonna be okay? I'm watching the good times slip away. Are we ever gonna be okay? We sat by and watched the sun bring in the day. We are astray, now we're free to drift away. Hiding myself from all the dismay. Are we ever gonna be okay? Watching the good times slip away. Are we ever gonna be okay? Good times slip away. Are we ever gonna be okay? We sat by and watched the sun bring in the day. We are astray and now we're free to drift away. All the dismay. Are we ever gonna be okay? Watching the good times slip away. Are we ever gonna be okay? Thank you. Thank you. All right, this is our last song. I want to thank you guys again for coming and supporting here at LARocks. This one's called Take Your Breath Away. When you're sleeping, our love won't pass on. Your heart I'm always keeping. Don't hold on to thoughts that are sleeping. Our love will go on, even though my heart's not beating. I'll give you love that takes your breath away. I'll give you love that takes your breath away. Thank you. Thank you.
You're watching LARocks TV.
Hey, this is Redbeard, and like I said, I have a great interview today with my friend Robert Sarzo. Robert, thanks for coming to the show again, man. This is like the third time.
This is the third time. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Last time you were here with Simon Wright.
Yeah.
You guys were just getting ready to go out with Queensryche. What a great time that was. You guys got me in twice backstage. Thank you. LARocks appreciates it. I sure appreciate it. And what a great show.
That was fun.
I had such a good time that night at the Canyon Club. Thank you so much for getting us in and helping us out. We sure appreciate it. Tell us a little bit about how the tour went. I mean, let's start from there. You were out with Queensryche.
We were out for a long time. Started out rehearsing in Seattle, and it was just really, really a good, positive, well, a lot of fun.
It looked like a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Simon Wright playing drums, and it was just a kick-ass.
It was powerful. It was fun. Great guys to hang out with on and off stage. It was a great experience. It was really, really good, positive. I love playing with them.
So what's going on now with you? You got some stuff you're doing with a band?
Well, right now, I've got what is called a Salute to Santana.
Not to be confused with a tribute.
It's not a tribute. We're not dressing up like Carlos Santana. I mean, I like the way they dress. I think he's got his own line of shoes.
Nothing against the way he's got his own shoes and everything.
But no, it's more, it's a salute because, you see, I came to America at 6 years, well, I turned 6 a month after I arrived here. And
from Cuba?
From Cuba. We were refugees. We just left everything. The lights on in the house, we just walked away. And when, we came to America, which we're really happy that we got accepted and helped out to start a whole new, fresh lifestyle, and especially in freedom to evacuate communism. But not knowing the language, it was really difficult. It was difficult in school. When rock and roll was introduced to me, to the Beatles, it was a way of showing freedom to play rock music. It was a form of, you got to remember, you're in school, and your teacher was in kindergarten, but your teacher is asking you to pray to God for ice cream, right? And it's really hot out. So like, oh, okay, what was I, 5 years old? So you pray to God for ice cream, and then there's no ice cream. So the next thing is, hey, let's pray to Fidel Castro for ice cream. And there's that, the ice cream bell shows up, and they're handing you ice cream. So we were being brainwashed, right, at very early age. That was the whole regime of communism. So rock and roll is the total opposite. It's freedom, thinking outside the box, is dreaming and feeling emotions that you are free, and that's what America's about. Yeah. And when Carlos came into the scene after Woodstock, he brought that magic of being Latino and being proud and being accepted as being a guitarist, and that's what I always wanted to do. Music called me. It wasn't something that I really picked and I said, hey, I want to do that. I did enjoy seeing the Beatles, what they were doing, but as soon as I heard music and there was an instrument in my house, a guitar, I picked it up, and it just felt natural to play the instrument.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm doing the salute to thank Carlos Santana for helping, not just me, but all the other Latinos.
Sure.
To be able to make a living playing rock and roll.
Wally Reyes is Cuban. He's been on the show before. He's the percussionist with Chicago, and he's from Cuba as well. And if it weren't for guys like Carlos, and let's not forget a guy named Rudy Sarzo, which also came to this country and plays a little bass guitar. You know who he is.
Every band that Rudy and I had back in Miami, back in the 70s, we always had a conga player. Because
no matter how rock and roll it was, you had a conga player.
Well, you got to remember also, Traffic had a conga player, Chicago had,
Right.
So Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, the Stones, Sympathy for a Devil. It was about the rhythms, and it's still about rhythm. Music is... It's about sonic sounds and waves and energy. moving energy around. And I'll tell you, the Santana band, I am so lucky to have one of the most talented musicians in the band.
You got some musicians in this band with you. Tell us about who's in this band.
Well, the keyboard player, he's been around the scene a long time, and his name is Jimmy Seville. He's a keyboard player. He's great. Richard Martinez, percussionist. He's worked with Julian Lennon. He's another Latino who plays great drums. Also percussion, I have Christian Moraga, which he was referred to some of the guys from the old Miami Sound Machine from Miami, and Rene Camacho, bass, session bass player. And Matt Klung, he's a horn player. So it's a 6-piece band. I'm singing lead. We're all singing, and it's just we're doing the early Woodstock vibe.
This is the first time singing for you, right?
I used to sing way back.
You used to sing all the time? Or
yeah, no? And I sang backup, with Jeff.
Well, and I heard you sing backup with Queensryche. You were doing great. Your voice is strong. You're ready to go. That's for darn sure.
He's a motivation. I mean, Jeff's just one of the best vocalists.
Oh my God, to be in that band with that vocalist.
Yeah.
I mean, what a good time. Hey, let's talk a little bit about misinformation. Let's talk a little bit about Blabbermouth. Seems to have made a mistake in saying that you are going to be continuing with Jeff. Basically, you had a contract with Jeff, and that's over.
The reason that I was brought in to Queensryche with Jeff Tate was to do the 25th anniversary
of Operation
Mindcrime, and also to do the greatest hits, and we did the farewell tour.
Right.
So.
And you did it.
I did it. Every show. I never missed one show. So.
Never once.
So no, not. I was there.
I was there.
All the sound checks. I was there too.
Look, what people love is they love a controversy. We know that.
Yeah.
And I read an article that made it sound like you got left behind. Like somehow the band moved on and they left Robert behind. That's not what happened at all.
Nobody quit, nobody got fired, nothing.
The contract was over.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was a member of that version of Queensryche, and it ended.
Yeah.
That's it. Now,
what a great time you had, though. My God.
Yeah.
Those guys were fun. I got to spend a little time with you there.
Fun hanging out with Jeff and Kelly and Randy and Woody and Simon and hanging out with my brother on tour.
On tour with your brother. That's
the first time to do a national tour, because we played all the clubs in Miami, and then we went up north, Utica, But to actually, just go out there and do it, at where we are now.
You played Utica and Binghamton and Cortland. And
I was living in Utica for sure. Well,
Utica Club beer. For those of you who don't know, Utica Club is made at Utica.
Utica's it's a great place to go there and work on an album. There's nothing else to do, or Dunkin' Donuts. You can go.
Tell me a little bit about what happened. The last time you were on, your solo album, which was in the Latin charts, was #1. On Amazon. Tell me a little bit more about how that went.
Well, it was Gary McGrath, a friend, a producer, which also has been on the show with you. He approached me and he's asked me if I want to do a solo record. Then I realized that I had a record put away in my vault. And it was something that I was supposed to have been released after Hurricane about 20 years ago.
Right.
And I just put it away, and it's rock en español. And I had him listen to it, and Gary goes, great, let's just put it out on the market. So we put it out. It came out last July of last year, and it went #1 bestseller, MP3 Latin rock, because it's got a lot of Latin rhythms, got the congas. The opening track is called the War Dance, which is a whole tribal, like spiritual war, but in the spirit world, if you will think about it, you can't see the spirits, but you feel them.
Right.
And it's kind of that energy forces going around, the negative and the positive fighting. But the talking drums, it's a lot of drum stuff going on there. And that's what I'm going to use also at the beginning of the show of the Salute to Santana.
Right.
So, I mean, I've been into this for like, 20-something years.
So it's a record that's been there for a while, and they brought it back out, and look how well it was received.
Yeah, we're #1 bestseller on Amazon. Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, tell me a little bit about the seal. You have a new friend. You have a new pet on your boat. For those of you who don't know, Robert lives on his boat full time. And tell us about what you found out there the other day.
Well, I guess it's funk. You know, I'm making my coffee, you know, in the kitchen, you know, and trying to like wake up. I drink a lot of coffee. And my wife and I goes, oh my God, she's back. She wants to see you. And I'm like, oh, and she goes, the seal. You know, so we found out later that it's really a sea lion. But anyway, she's really sweet. I got pictures of her, but she
was injured.
Well, she visited us about a week before, and she looked really healthy, and she was just hanging out, like smiling and trying to do like tricks. And I'm like, oh my God. I got 4 little dogs that I rescued, 2 pump, a Pekingese and a Japanese chin. And
Robert's a real animal lover, man.
Oh, I love
He doesn't
animals.
just talk this game. He rescues animals. This man's for real. So you've got dogs and a
She wanted to get in the boat. And the kind of boat, if you're in, it's really kind of hard to get out. It's a blue water, 51 foot. And she was trying to get in. She's trying to get on the steps. I'm like, oh my God, she's so cute. I want to hug her, but she's going to bite.
Right,
I mean,
it's a seal.
And then I find out, yeah, their
biting strength is like 4 times more than a pit bull, and I've had pit bulls, so I know that they can really bite. So anyway, so I hung out with her. We did a photo shoot. You know, and then friends on Facebook, they started naming her and stuff like, so we figured out Lucille. But yeah, a week later, which is the other day, she showed up and she had a fishing hook stuck in her, and that really upset me. And you could see her ribs, and she looked really ill.
Like she had been eaten.
She didn't, yeah, she looked sick. So my wife called the rescue area locally, and they came like a half hour later, and they picked her up. And we visited her yesterday. We couldn't see her, but we saw her friends there. And I'm going to be posting that on Facebook. And,
That's great.
They say in about a week she's on antibiotics. She has a respiratory infection.
But you got to visit and everything. So.
Oh, yeah, she'll be back. She's really
So she'll
sweet.
be back on the boat.
Not in the boat.
Well, you never know.
She might bite.
Man, I saw that on your Facebook, and I thought that's just such an awesome story.
So sweet.
And I saw you on the pictures with the boat, and geez, what a sometimes you just get blessed. You just have that feeling of overwhelming joy, and I can just imagine having that creature kicking it with you.
I look at the picture. I'm so concerned about her, but they said I went to visit her yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was Saturday.
Yeah.
And they told me she's okay. She'll be okay. She
Oh,
just
well,
has to
that's good.
be under the medical attendance of the doctor and what they're doing over there. But I'm going to be also, my wife Avery and I, we're going to be helping out over there, you know, at there's like a hospital over there at the fort in San Pedro. Yeah, so yeah, just helping out, whatever, cleaning or...
Hey, tell me about this hat thing, man. This is taking off. He's got this line of hats that people...
The Voodoo Man hats.
The Voodoo Man hats, man. They love them. People are buying them up.
It's American made, 100% wool, which is, you know, being animal activist, I'm not totally crazy about, you know, the wool.
Right.
Originally, someday maybe I'll get some synthetic.
Or hemp or something.
Yeah.
As soon as we start growing more hemp in this country again, then you got another great product there.
But Red, yeah, what happened was that I was on tour with Queensryche, and everybody wanted to buy my hat. Everybody's like, I want your hat, I want your hat. And, you know, every flight, the pilots, stewardess, everybody. So I told them all, I said, when I get back, I will post and I'm going to open up a store. Absolutely. So I did. My wife and I, we opened up the Voodoo Man Curiosity Shop, and it's spelled V-U-D-U, Curiosity Shop. You can Google that. And we have T-shirts. We're working very closely with all the local artists in San Pedro, and there's a lot of talented people over there. So we're really displaying their art on T-shirts and my Voodoo Man coffee mug.
Right. You get what you gave me.
Yeah,
I have a Voodoo Man coffee mug. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so it's a lot. We're just having fun.
You got to go to this guy's website and go get some of this stuff. It's really, really just cool stuff, you know. And I think it's great because the hats have always been cool. The hats you've had have always been cool.
It's a party hat.
And now you can have your own damn Voodoo Man hat. I think that's awesome.
It's all handmade. I mean, even the skull. I make those from Amon, a famous artist.
So wait a minute, let me get this right. If I come to your boat, which is your house, there is a spot where you sit at a table and you make these hats. Robert Sarzo
and Avery
puts his hands, and his wife, they put their hands and they make each one of these hats.
Yeah.
Not in China, Not
No.
in Indonesia.
Everything is assembled and we put it together in San Pedro.
That's awesome.
In my yacht.
That's
We're
awesome.
rocking.
As you're rocking back.
We're rocking and rolling.
Lord.
We're doing that.
A little bit about Skype. It's possible now where just everybody out there that wants a lesson could get a lesson. You do the Skype thing.
I've been teaching in Skype for a few years, about 5 years now, and it works really well. It's one-on-one, and you just schedule the appointment, what time, and especially it's kind of tricky when it's somebody else on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
But I've had students in Guam and in the East Coast, Connecticut, and I still do, and it's a lot of fun.
I'll bet.
I like that.
I'll
yeah.
bet. It really puts you one-on-one with somebody, and they get a real chance to tap into. Yeah. That's a new thing.
And bass
where
guitar
you
too.
can get lessons for you guitar players or bass players or drummers. You can get into the living rooms of some of these really, really great guitar players, and they'll give you lessons on Skype. And if you're not familiar with that, check into that, because you can have some of your real guitar heroes.
Yeah.
Who you are creatively.
Yeah, and if they want to reach me, I actually have they can write to me at Robert Sarzo Music School at Gmail.
Okay, so we have the music school, we have the Skype thing going on.
Yeah.
You got the Santana.
The store, I got the Santana.
The hats, the Santana thing.
We're starting, first show is going to be in San Pedro at Alva's Showroom.
Alva's Showroom, when is that?
That is the 17th of January, right before NAMM. It's a Saturday.
Okay, that'll all come up on the screen right here magically.
Yeah. It's a great venue. It's got great PA, great lighting.
Oh, good. I can't wait.
It's kind of a boutique place. It seats about 70 people.
Nice intimate setting. I can't
Very
wait.
intimate.
I can't wait. I can imagine that I'm going to be at this show. It sounds like a great time.
Really looking forward to it.
Robert, thank you so much for coming to the show again.
Well, thank you, Red.
I look forward to seeing you again soon. I understand that you invited us into one of your practices, so maybe in the next few weeks I'll give you a little short clip of what this guy's doing. He invited us down. So you watch for that on another episode of LA Rocks. Robert Sarzo, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you, Red. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
This is Rick Fox, and you're watching LA Rocks TV with Redman City.
Wow, thank you. Thank you again, and thank you all for coming. I want to take this opportunity to thank Daniel Archuleta. Daniel, thank you for coming to the show. You were awesome. But as I promised you, we've got a great interview with Bill Kennison. Bill, thanks for coming to the show. For you that don't know Bill, he's a producer here in the Los Angeles area, producing films with Universal, and I just did a thing with you in the red carpet for Randy Castillo, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But let me start with, for some of you younger viewers in the crowd, I want to turn you on to one of the greatest comedians that ever lived. Some of you may not know who he is, and it's just because it's an age generational thing. But you take just a minute here and you watch this man's brother and someone that I sure would have loved to meet. Take a look at Sam Kennison right here.
I'm reading this, and it's an exciting story, but I read it and I thought, I know Jesus was never married. Guy never had a wife, no one. He was never married, because no wife would buy this story in 100 years. The disciples will, the believers will. No wife would buy this fucking story. Good luck. Good luck with this story. First of all, he leaves on Friday afternoon with 12 other guys. He's gone for 3 days. No message, no way to get in touch with her. He comes home Monday afternoon looking like he hasn't slept. And seems like he's partied out, man. And Mrs. Jesus is just waiting, going, oh, okay, I guess it's day 3 of this show. Oh, great. Well, I'm glad you could find your way home, Savior. Where's your 12 friends who won't get a job? How are they at? Yeah, disciples my ass. They're losers. Every one of them are using it. You're not even smart enough to know it. Anybody says, I believe, we put them up and feed them. I'm secular. Where are you at? Jesus is going, I don't need this shit. Not after what I went through this weekend. No, honey, I'll tell you where I've been. Come here. Come here. Come here. I'll tell you where I've been. First of all, not that it ruined your weekend any, but I was dead! Do you understand that, you fucking bitch? I was dead! While you were sitting here on your ass, I'm in a grave outside of town. I'm fighting death, hell, decomposure. I'm about to come into spiritual form and go into the kingdom of God. I go, wait a second. I better go back because she doesn't know where I've been. So now I gotta fight the angel of death, get my fucking soul back, crawl out of a grave, come home to this shit because I missed you, honey!
Brother, that must have been a handful. You was the manager there, huh?
Yeah, we, it was actually 6 minutes that changed his entire life. Rodney Dangerfield, who had seen him doing comedy about 6 weeks into doing comedy in Houston, always remembered him, and they ended up being good friends. And he talked us into doing an HBO special for 6 minutes. And that 6 minutes changed his entire life. He went from making $35 a night at the Comedy Store till we started a tour that we started at $12,000, and by the end of that 40-city tour, he was making $50,000 a night, and eventually topped out at $175,000 a night.
Sam Kinison was a fantastic comedian. He has a great mind. He was the guy that would say what everybody was thinking. He could take the common man's thought and say what everybody was thinking. But tell us a little bit about, he had a background as a preacher.
Our entire family were preachers. We had four boys, and my mother and father both were preachers. We were Pentecostal preachers, so we laid hands on the sick. Oh, we laid hands on the sick and fell out on the floor and spoke in tongues.
Oh, my.
Did all that. He did it for 7 years. And then he ended up in a divorce. Well, in our circles, that's the worst thing that could have happened to you. I mean, you could be a drug addict, a drunk,
divorce,
whatever. You get a divorce, no, you're done. And so he was about as low as I'd ever seen him. He came, I was pastoring a church in Rockford, Illinois, and he came and stayed with me and told me, he said, I'm done. And I said, you know, Sam, what have you always wanted to do? Why don't you look down in your heart and find out what you always wanted to do and then do it? So I thought he'd take a few days. He took about 5 seconds, said, I always want to be a stand-up comedian. So I said, all right, set a date, and after that date, never preach again. And he did that and became a stand-up comedian.
Is there a story behind the trench coat and beret?
Well, the beret was because he's going bald.
Well, there you go. That's
trench coat,
my story, too.
The trench coat was that he was dating Jana Widmark, which was Richard Widmark's daughter.
Yeah.
And we were getting ready to do the HBO special, so he decided to steal Richard Widmark's overcoat that he wore in Matlock as good luck, and that's what he was wearing on the HBO special. And from then on, he always wore the long coats. It was just a matter of, I think, good luck, and he liked the look.
Yeah. Well, it was a good look.
Yeah, it was a good look for him.
See, for me, I'm on the little heavy side, if you hadn't noticed. And if trench coat hides a lot of, the heavy side. Trench coat hides heavy side. So I like trench coats, too. I just wish I could wear them everywhere. I wear them, and they stop me on the street and think I'm some kind of pervert, you know. Well,
he used to make routines about it.
Yeah. Oh,
now, this is the look you have when you're waiting for the school bell.
Yeah.
The kids get out of school.
Yeah, that's funny. Tell me how you got involved with the Randy Castillo story. Randy Castillo was a fabulous drummer for Ozzy Osbourne and many other rock bands, and he passed away 12 years ago. And they made a documentary about his life.
Yep.
And how did you get involved in that?
They called and asked if I would do an interview on Randy, and he was very, very close friends. He actually went, he and his girlfriend at that time went on Sam's honeymoon to Hawaii when he got married.
Oh.
That's how close they were. And so they came out to the theater that we own in Upland, the Grove Theater, and did the interview. And the amazing thing about Randy was Sam used to have a lot of leeches, I called them, that just hung on.
Yeah, I'll bet he did.
And so it wasn't unusual to see, some young guy to all of a sudden pop up and hang around for a while. Well, all of a sudden, this Randy Castillo, the thing that didn't fit is he always was clean looking and,
Just didn't fit the bill.
No, he didn't fit the bill. And I remember after about 6 weeks, I finally asked Sam, I go, who the hell is this kid? And Sam goes, oh, that's Randy Castillo. That's Ozzy's drummer. And I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever. Now, who's he really? And he goes, no, that's Ozzy's drummer. Well, for 6 weeks, I had known Randy. He never mentioned one thing about being a drummer or being Ozzy Osbourne's drummer.
Talk about humble, humility.
He really was. Most unassuming guy I ever met.
To meet somebody new and to be Ozzy's drummer, not only just a drummer, but I happen to be playing an Ozzy and not even mention it.
No.
Not even mention it.
Went on vacations with us, went to my mother's house, and I told him he had to back off, man, because I remember we had Thanksgiving dinner one time, and he was with us, and he's in there doing the dishes, and I was like, Randy, dude, you're putting the pressure on the rest of us.
The rest of us are looking bad.
Yeah, you're messing up the whole routine here. And but great guy, a great guy. In my opinion, he's the best drummer I ever seen. And,
there you go. You've seen a few.
Yeah, and I thought he was the best, but even more than that, he was a fantastic guy. He was just a wonderful guy.
That's what our we have a mutual friend, Rainbow Vic.
Oh yeah.
And that's what he told me, is that Randy was just one of the nicest people that you could ever want to meet.
Really was.
And that's just great. I'm so glad they did the documentary. It's the Lifeblood Rhythm. It's a story about Randy Castillo. You really need to go see this documentary. It's really cool. Lita Ford narrates it all the way through. She's awesome. And if you get a chance, you definitely need to go check this out. And you'll see an interview with this guy in there as well.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit what's going on now. You're working with Universal and
yeah, we're doing a movie. Working title is Brother Sam, which is based on the book that I wrote, a best-selling book, Brother Sam.
Yeah.
And it's a story of two brothers, myself and my brother, kind of a love-hate relationship.
Right.
I was like the only guy around him that wasn't a yes man.
Yeah.
The rest of them, their whole thing is they'd party all night or for 2 or 3 days, and I'd be going, what are you doing? He goes, man, if we get one idea, it's worth it. And I go, yeah, that really works. Well, none of the rest of them
that justifies things.
Yeah, that would never work with them. Not counting, Sam never did routines. He never wrote a routine in his life. He did 280 shows a year basically on the road, and every show was different. He had this genius ability to make anything funny. So whatever was going on or whatever he felt about any events, he could make it hilarious. And
there on the spot.
Right on the spot, and he did that every night. And
that's amazing.
Oh, that made it interesting to manage him.
That's amazing.
And after that, I managed Rodney Dangerfield for a while and Pauly Shore after he died. And I love both of them.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle it, dude. I just could not handle that same thing every night after being around Sam for 6 years.
You did it with your brother, that's one thing, but to have to do that with somebody else, it's just...
Well, and Sam, and I'm not saying they're not interesting. I remember Sam was on Johnny Carson one night, and Johnny Carson was talking about, how tough it is to put an act together and everything else, and Sam goes, yeah, these comedians kill me, man. So they get an act, they go out on the road, and then they got to take 6 months off to get another act. And Sam goes, I was in the ministry, man. We had a different act every night.
Yeah.
And that's really how it was. And that's how Sam looked at it. He always thought that making people laugh was the easiest thing in the world, and it was for him.
Yeah, that's amazing that he could just do that. And what a shame we lost him when we did. Tell me a story about Richard Pryor and Sam lived in the same complex?
We came out of the same projects in Peoria, Illinois. We didn't know each other until we came out here, and they're both in comedy. And I remember we were sitting there. Actually, I was sitting back in the green room, and Sam was performing, and I sat in the green room with Richard, and he started telling me, because his whole act, not his whole act, but most of his act was how rough he had it in the project.
How the kid is with the project.
And I remember telling him, Richard, at first he didn't buy it. I go, we're out of Taft Homes, just like you. He's like, oh, yeah. What was your unit number? I go, 56. I still remember it.
Right.
And he goes, I don't believe it. I go, I know your pastor, Reverend Washington from, Reverend Hightower from Washington Baptist Church. He goes, damn, man, you really do.
You really did.
I go, I told you we came from the same projects, except I don't buy your BS. And he goes, why? I go, we was in the same projects, and we were white. So I don't want to hear how tough it was for you down there in the projects. But yeah, we ended up being very, very close friends. I'm still best friends with his son, Richard Pryor Jr.
Yeah.
And that was, that was how we got with Richard.
Wow. That's just, it's an amazing story.
Great ride.
And what a great ride you've had in this business, and you're still doing what you love. And again, those of you who have watched the show, you know how I feel. There's no better way to honor somebody that we've lost than to tell stories about them and to refresh people who they are. So it's a great honor for me to be able to talk to you and to talk about Sam and to find out what you got going on in your life now. It was a great honor meeting you. I had such a good time at that red carpet event. Everybody was there for a really good reason. And how do people find you? You have a website and your business in Upland?
We have the Grove Theater in Upland, so you can go to the Grove website. Sam, if you want to buy CDs, DVDs, or whatever, you can go to samkennison.org.
Funniest guy alive, man.
He really was. I mean, he's considered to be one of the top 5 comedians of all time. And how we met Robert and his brother Rudy and
so you knew Robert Sarzo from?
Oh yeah. He used to play in the All-Star bands. I've known Robert for 25 years. Probably.
Oh, that's amazing. I love bringing people together that haven't seen each other in years, and we come here and we kick it in our little crowd and we just have a good time.
Yep.
Bill, I hope you come back and see us again sometime.
I'll be glad to.
I really enjoyed talking to you. I can't wait to see you again. You got to go to this guy's site, go to the Grove, and go check out Sam Kennison.
Yeah.
Go check this guy out. If you've never seen him, there's footage available. It's a damn shame there's not more of it, but there is footage available, and he's one of the greatest comedians that ever lived. Bill, thank you so much.
Thank you, Red.
Bill Kennison, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
I am Alan Krieger, and you are watching LARocks TV. See ya!
Wow, thank you so much. I want to thank all my guests so far tonight, man. It was great seeing Bill Kennison and Rudy and Robert Sarzo. Wow, how great to see them today. And let's thank Daniel Archuleta one more time for showing up here. Thank you. Make sure you go find his music and make sure you go get yourself a download and buy that stuff. Right now, I'm here with Brian and Tommy, and you guys are from Universal Musical Productions out of San Diego. For people who watched last week's show, that would have been Peter Worth was here, and one of you is Ken, I believe you.
Yeah.
You're his son.
Absolutely.
Thanks for making the trip up from San Diego. I appreciate you guys coming.
Thanks for having me.
Listen, I wanted to have you guys on a little bit because you guys are like engineers and kind of work in the studios and you work around the artists and kind of getting them ready and prepping them. Tell me a little bit about what you do down there, and let's start with that. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Okay. A big part of what we do for the artists is, pre-production is huge, very instrumental in what we do. We don't like to have the artists come in and jump right into the studio and try to attack it with no game plan. So game planning is really huge for us. We'll have them come into the office, prep them for the kinds of things to expect. Obviously, we work very closely with Brian, so letting people know how he works, what to expect when they go in there is pretty big for us, because if we can go in there and have them go through everything smoothly and not have to waste time, it's good
production
for both parties.
Time is money. In production, there's no way about it. Time is money, and you don't want to have acts show up that are rehearsing in the studio. They needed to have all that done before time, beforehand. And that's what I think when you talk about pre-production is having your shit together before you get to this stage. Then I'm paying attention, following directions from the people who are there is what makes it a smooth experience. Exactly. Tell me about getting people to follow directions.
You know, I mean, that's what I look for the most, is an artist that comes in, is ready to record. And I'm a very hands-on engineer, so I like them to go back and forth with taking what they've done in pre-production and taking it to the next level. And most artists are pretty open to that. So
you're an idea guy. You're okay with ideas, and And do you find that it becomes your job to figure out a way to communicate with everybody? Because don't you wish you could just sit there and say, this is the way it's going to be done? Mm-hmm. But artists sometimes need to be handled in a way that is special. Tell me about how many different personalities you have to deal with.
Quite a bit, especially since our range, I mean, I don't specialize in one particular kind of music, so I'll have to deal with the hip-hop guys, to the pop singers, to the rock bands, and they all have a different, very wide persona. So I like to sit down. A lot of times what I'll do is after they meet with Pete and Tommy, I'll have them meet with me, I'll talk about the project, know what they're going for, and then it becomes easier to kind of work once they're actually in there too.
Right. So kind of walk me through Universal Musical Productions. If somebody shows up there, walks through the door, hey, I'm an artist, where do they start? Who do they talk to? How do they get involved? And tell me the steps that you're going to do to walk them through.
There's several different things. There's several different ways that it goes. Some people come in and they're just looking to get a demo out, get their name out, kind of get their foot in the door.
So you find out first what their need is.
Right. That's the biggest part for us, is finding out exactly where they're at, where their head is with where they want to go with their music.
How many show up and really don't know what they need?
More than you think.
They just have no idea what they need. Here we are, make me a star.
Right. That's why they're showing up, and that's what we're here for. So it's kind of exciting to get a challenge like that where the artist doesn't know what they want, and we can give them the guidance to
make it come to fruition.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and for them to discover who they really are.
Yeah,
I mean, you get the freedom to determine who you really are.
Yeah,
and that's really important. So you don't stifle creativity. You have them come in. Once they get into like the studio situation, what's next from there?
Like I said, pre-production is a big part of it. Then getting them over to the studio. From there, we'll walk them through, generally if they're not very experienced, we'll start them at stage 1 of a development program. And we'll show them all the ins and outs of the business, who to deal with, who not to deal with, because a lot of artists come in and they try to explore everything. And a lot of it is a time waster. There's a lot of things.
So you have Rock and Roll 101, you need to give them right from the gate, and now you're on the same page.
Let them know what to do, what not to do. And there's just so many different avenues that people are trying to take. Some people come in and they have their music ready to go. They have, everything set and ready, and they just admit, hey, I tried to do this on my own. I need management. And that's also where we'll
Let me ask you something. It's a really controversial issue. It's called auto-tune. Now, I'm a person that believes that auto-tune has its place. I've heard Christina Aguilera sing. She can really sing. I've heard Britney sing. She can't. Okay? I've heard this stuff. But I think auto-tune is a great tool, because if you use it and then you look back at when it had to correct you, then you can go correct those places on your own. Tell me about auto-tune, and do people use it in the studio, and how prevalent is it now that people are being auto-tuned?
It's absolutely something I use a lot, just because, especially if you're dealing with, depending on the style, if you're dealing with a pop artist or someone singing on a rap chorus, or even like a pop rock song, the pitch being locked in 100% is important for it to match. I mean, as much as I do like imperfections in music, I just do weird little things, especially if you go back and listen to the old,
I used to listen to the Grateful Dead for those reasons.
Exactly.
Every show was different. You could buy thousands of tapes, and they were all different. They all had little mistakes in them.
And auto-tune is a very useful tool. I mean, and you can use it on anything and have it almost. A lot of people think of auto-tune and they think of the T-Pain sound. T-Pain, ironically, can sing very well.
Yeah,
he uses auto-tune as a tool. If you ever hear him
as a sound.
Yeah, exactly, as an instrument. So. But if you're just using it for correction, a lot of times, if you use it right and you know how to do that on top of other pitch correction, it's very easy to use.
Right. I believe that it's a tool that's very useful. And do I like to hear somebody go out on stage, be singing through auto-tune? No, I would prefer that they make their little mistakes on stage. Mm-hmm. When you're in the CD, when you're recording mode, fine. I want it all perfect. I want the pitch to be perfect on everything. If you needed to hold it, I want it to be there. So that's how I feel about auto-tune. A lot of people feel differently, and I really wanted to get your your opinion on it. As an engineer, it's a tool that you use
Very
a lot.
Yes.
As a lot. You guys do anything with booking bands on the road, getting them gigs afterwards, and that kind of thing?
Booking bands, we're not a booking agency.
Not a booking agency.
Right, but a lot of times we'll sit down with the artist, we'll find out their niche, where their style of music, their genre of music would be best received, and we'll work it out with them. Some bands want to get a separate booking agent. We're fine with that. Working with the booking agent will also help in the selection of that. And then sometimes guys just kind of want to go out and play different venues and see what works for them, opposed to where they think they'll be received. And we're open to that as well. Whatever makes the artist feel comfortable and keeps their career on the right path. Well,
I want to thank you guys for coming up from San Diego. It means a lot to me. Tommy, Brian, they're at Universal Musical Productions. We're going to see Peter. We're going to see your dad probably next week. Probably do another interview with Pete and find out what's going on with you guys again a little bit down there. Thanks for coming up. I really appreciate it. Absolutely. Thanks for coming and doing an episode of LA Rocks. We really appreciate it.
It's a fun one.
Hey, where do we find you guys on the internet? Give me your website and so on and so forth.
www.universalmusicalproductions.com.
It's pretty simple.
Put that on the screen.
It's right there. If we do this together, 1, 2, 3. There it is. There it is. It's on the screen right now.
All right.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Tommy, Brian, from Universal Musical Productions. Thanks, guys. Thanks. There you go. That was pretty painless.
It was, yeah.
You're watching LARocks TV.
Man, oh man. Thank you guys. Thank you. You guys, here we are. It's after the show and place is clearing out. You guys are still sticking here. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Here we are with the star of the show today, Daniel Archuleta. Thank you, Daniel, for coming to the show.
Red, thanks for having me here.
And I just talked about how we're going to see Pete Worth next week. Well, I was wrong. He walked through the door. Here he is. And he's up here with Daniel. Tell me, well, let's start with how you guys met.
Well, about a year ago, I went into the studio that they currently are at right now, and I was recording some demos. From what I hear, they're going through the studio's work, and they came across my stuff, and the rest is history.
Sure. That's awesome. So you guys have been working together now. Tell me a little bit about what you guys got in the works. I mean, what's happening now with you guys?
Well, currently we're in the pre-production phase. I've gotten a lot of recording done. We're doing some concept videos, some music videos. Basically just getting all the ducks in a row. Right.
Just like we just talked about with the other guys about how you need to get everything ready to go.
And like I've been playing for a long time, but I haven't been doing my original stuff like I wanted to do. I've just been playing the club scene. I've been, just
covering other stuff.
Doing my thing, playing bass, playing guitar, just doing it all. Right. Now I'm focusing on my career, what I want to do, and I'm having a great time doing it, meeting great people.
Yeah, and doing it for yourself is a big deal now. And not doing covers, now you got your own stuff, and you're getting your career out there, and you're managing it for yourself. And I'm sure that's where Peter's helping out a lot, is getting all those ducks in a row for you so you can get out there. Pete, tell me, where's he at? Is he ready to tour? What are we doing with him?
Yeah, I mean, the kid's ready to do almost anything that he wants to do. You know, Tommy went through some of the music that was in the studio and came across Dan's stuff, as he was saying, and decided that we needed to talk with Dan and maybe get him pointed in the right direction with his original music.
Right.
So him and Tommy had an initial conference call. He came in, he walked through the doors of UMP, and it was like old home. He walked in like he had been in my home 1,000 times, in my office 1,000 times, and it was a mutual bond between all of us. Tommy and him have really struck up a great relationship.
So now a great friendship as well.
Yeah, yeah, and we understand the importance of cross promoting. And that, as you see in the performance earlier, we had Sonia Harley come in.
Yeah.
And she was featured.
Let's hear it for Sonia.
Right?
Yeah. She came up and sang a song.
So with that being said, we met Sonia and her team, and she's a great girl. We went up to the Rainbow, which you're no stranger of.
I'm no stranger to the Rainbow.
We did a red carpet event with her. They opened up their arms with you know, all the hospitality that you could expect. We had her come down to San Diego and work with Tommy and Brian in the studio on that song that you just heard. And there's a bright future there for the both of them. They're both going to cross promote in the future on a few other projects.
Maybe we could get Sonia to come up on the show sometime.
Her and I have been talking about that. That is definitely going to happen.
Good. We get, you know, is she in the stage where she needs to have a band around her at this point?
Well, she works with a decent band. She's got a music director, so to speak, in Ahmed, and he comes out and he's a phenomenal guitar player and a great songwriter, and he's a great asset to her. So she's got a band that's pretty solid.
So they're going to fine-tune stuff, and then we're going to bring them on.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that want to play with her, and they have like the pick of the litter, so to speak, and they have some great musicians to sit down with them.
Well, listen, I heard her saying she's got a great voice. I can't wait to have her on the show, fronting the show and being the star herself, because she's got a great voice, and that's what she should be doing.
Absolutely.
So I can't wait for further information there. Yeah. Are we getting ready to play Vegas? And I see you playing Vegas and Branson and New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm ready for all of them.
I mean, you're just ready to go. Oh, yeah. So that's awesome. How do people find your stuff to buy it? Is it Daniel Archuleta?
Daniel Archuleta, or danarchuleta.com.
danarchuleta.com.
And Facebook / Dan Archuleta Music.
Okay, so that's
the best way to find it.
That's the best way to find it. And you need friends on Facebook. We all need friends on Facebook, you know? Because I feel like I'm a lower class citizen if I don't have as many friends as my next guy over, you know? I look to see how many friends he's got, and I go, man, I'm such a loser, you know?
You know, Facebook is a great tool, and there are other multimedia, you know, sites that'll help you out.
Absolutely.
But as a social format, Facebook is, you know, it's great because it's, again, cross-promoting your personal life along with whatever you might be doing. And if you're in the entertainment business, it's essential to have one.
Yeah, and I really think it turns the fans into friends.
Absolutely.
I mean, Facebook has found a way to turn fans into friends, and that's really, really important.
It erases that dividing wall pretty easily. Absolutely.
When fans realize that if they like your stuff, that they can actually talk to you by way of Twitter, or by way of Facebook, that's really, really an awesome tool to have at our disposal. Is there anything else you guys want to cover while we're here? I mean,
just look for Dan and his band out on the road.
Dan Archuleta.
We're going to open up the region a little bit. We're going to be playing Vegas. He's going to go out and play.
He's been kind of regional, San Diego. It's time to
absolutely
move outside of that area.
Erase those walls and move them forward a little bit into a larger spectrum.
Sounds to me like he's ready to go.
I'm ready.
He's
I'm
ready
ready
to play.
now.
He's ready to go out there. Let him loose out on the stage.
I'm taking the leash off, man, and setting him loose.
There we go.
Kids roaring.
Pete Wirth, Universal Musical Production. Daniel Archuleta.
Red,
thank you for coming to the show. Thank you for doing a show here.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for coming to LA Rocks. Hey, this is Redbeard, and we are so much out of here. Thank you to the audience. Thank you to Robert Sarzo. Thanks to Robert Sarzo. Thanks to Bill Kennison for coming to the show.
Great company.
Thanks to you guys, the audience here. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on LA Rocks, man.